What's going on, guys? Goosey here again today. Now today it's a little bit more of a half rant, half review video because this past weekend OwaraiMonogatari second season came out. Now why is this kind of important? Well, as you guys know, in the past couple weeks I've released a series of videos talking about certain problems with the anime community, and one of them is my anime list ratings. So when you look at it, Owari was so good that it dethroned Kimi no Na wa in 2 to 3 days. I am aware of when it happened. I just know one day it's like at a 9.26, 9.27. The next day it's at a 9.28. Kind of rare to happen, honestly. It usually takes a lot longer. Like Fullmetal Alchemist had the title for a long time. Kimi no Na wa took maybe 6 to 7 months to actually dethrone Fullmetal Alchemist. But Owari did it in 2 days. Now some people are like, well, what's the big deal? This series came out of nowhere and it's the greatest anime ever? Well, to be honest, the Monogatari series is really, really good. Those of us who have seen a couple hundred anime, I'm bound to have seen the Monogatari series along the way. It's not really one of those anime you watch in like, you know, your first 10 anime you've ever seen. Like those slots are usually like Fullmetal Alchemist, Soul Eater, Death Note, series of that nature you tend to watch when you first start. Attack on Titan being one of those, Sword Art Online, to say the least. And then OwaraiMonogatari, you're just like, wait, this is just a bunch of text and random tits. Well, you're not wrong, but you're not right either. You gotta kinda indulge yourself in this anime. It's one of those series that is very well built and very well developed, but you have to have seen all of it to understand why there was so much behind it. So if you're like me, I watched Bake and Nisei Monogatari a few years ago. I fell in love with the series, started picking up each series as long as it came along, you know, watching Koyomi, Owari Part 1. It was a ride for me. And I was wondering if it was ever going to end. And then we get our answer. I wasn't aware that Owari was the end to all. I thought it was just a continuation of what happens at the end of Koyomi Monogatari. Only to find out that yes, this was the end, because it turns out that the end of Koyomi is only like 3 days before the planned ending of the novels, which is something we don't ever really think about. But hey, if you read the novels, you knew, and if you didn't, like me, you didn't know. But after watching, you're just like, oh my god, this is beautiful. Because you get your ending, you find out which couple is solidified, you find out who's doing what, everyone did what they were supposed to. You find out about the curses that were held between people. You find out about why some people are doing this. You find out why someone was truly evil, or why someone was pretending to be evil, or what the plan was the entire time. It seals up the past 7 seasons of the Monogatari franchise. And people were just like, no, it's gotta be bad. I don't get it. It's like, I mean, if you were watching all along, you would get it. But you're not watching, so you don't know. And I understand, Kimi no Na wa is also one of those movies that very casual people watch, you filthy casuals. But, you know, compare it to an established series versus a one-shot movie, there's a difference here. I get it. Like, I feel like some of the bad ratings on Owari, it just feels like they came out of nowhere. Because 1 minute, you have a series that has 70% of its votes being 10 out of 10s, and then all of a sudden you have like a storm of 200 to 300 1 out of 10 ratings coming in, which makes no sense. Then you begin to think about it. Maybe some people don't think it deserves to be #1, and they're instantly going to vote it out of spite, which I think is a bad thing. If you've seen it, give it your honest rating. Don't go and give it a 1 out of 10. What if I go in there and vote Kimi no Na wa a 1 out of 10? That's horrible. Kimi no Na wa is minimum a 9. Based on how well it's written. Is it the greatest anime of all time? I believe it's one of the greatest anime movies of all time. It's definitely the highest grossing movie of all time. But I best believe any Studio Ghibli film is still gonna knock it over, because everyone, when they think anime movies, they think Studio Ghibli, they don't think Kimi no Na wa. So when everyone thinks anime, they're like, what the fuck is this stupid Japanese shit? It's just text, random text and tits. And everyone else is like, but dude, give it a try. I have friends that have only seen parts of the Monogatari franchise, and it's only the parts they like the Tsubasa Black arc, because you got a cat girl in underwear Literally, my friends have only watched that series because of the cat girl in underwear. I'm like, guys, give it a damn shot. And someone else is like, well, I only watched it for the toothbrush scene. I'm like, are you gonna masturbate to the toothbrush scene too? Do you masturbate with toothbrushes? Is that your thing? Is toothbrush your fetish? Seriously, just watch the entire show for what it is. That's why it got all those 10 out of 10 ratings. If a show has a majority of its audience giving it a 10 out of 10, doesn't that mean it's good? Doesn't that mean it hit its target audience on the head? That's pretty much what I got to say about that. You can't really hate it unless you've indulged in it. You gotta be devoured by it. Don't hate something because you don't understand it, and don't hate something because you haven't seen it. I don't care if your favorite anime got knocked down a slot. You have to go in there and watch this series. Understand, let it mold you into what anime can be. There are hundreds of series out there that I bet you none of you would even like because you're so narrow-minded about what anime actually is. To you guys, anime has to be action or some form of a love story, or how do I power up in half an arc? You guys get the point here. Don't rate it bad. And now for the good part about it though. Like, the series was beautiful. It was a great conclusion. You finally see Araragi say I love you to Senjogahara about 1,000,000 times. And Hanekawa loses, I'm sorry. That's another point. Maybe some people voted because they didn't get their harem or they didn't get their ship. Hey, if you like Shinobu, she technically won. Technically. And if it wasn't for all those Kizu movies, there would probably be as many Shinobu fans as there is today. But it's thanks to Kizu that the Shinobu ending makes sense. So that's what and continuing on, yeah, that ties in further about the whole story being good. It was a great story, it was nice, it was pleasant. Every story down the way was patched up. You find out what happens in the end. You know where the three, I guess, wizards or gurus of anomalies and immortal beings are. It's just so much. You get the Hachikuji ending, Sengako. You get the two fire sisters. You get everyone's story. Everyone is shown. You get the completed ending. It's why I feel it deserves the 10 out of 10 rating it deserved, and you guys keep rating it worse. What can we do? So, if you haven't seen the series, go ahead, watch the entire franchise. You'll marathon it. If you've seen maybe like 80 to 90 anime at this point, I promise you'll find a way to enjoy it. If you're a beginner, give it some time. Go watch a bunch of other series. Indulge yourself in sports, anime, in action, gore, you name it. Just go throw yourself in the community and then come back and watch it later. I promise you, there'll be a way to like it. You just can't watch this from the beginning. And that's about all I can say, guys. Great series. Great ending. Let's hope they publish the 2 new books and make them into a movie or, hey, another series. But all for today, guys. Thanks for listening. Later.